final zip for today is the invisible zipper. An invisible zipper is obviously not really invisible, we can see it here, but once it's sewn into the garment it is very, very hard to see, so it's hidden, and it makes evening wear and any kind of dresses where you want a really nice finish on your zipper, or you don't want the zipper as a main feature, just really lovely. It looks a little bit different to a normal zipper as well. See how the zipper teeth are actually on the wrong side of the zipper, and on the right side where the zipper pull is, you can't actually see them. The reason why this works like that is because your zipper feet, or your zipper coil, rolls. And we're going to use that to our advantage as we're sewing this invisible zipper. Okay. The way you want to insert the invisible zipper is a little bit different as well. You also need a special foot. Your machine brand should have a snap-on zipper foot if you do have a snap-on machine. Alternatively, you can buy a generic zipper foot which will come with different adapters. All you need to do is unscrew the button here, unscrew the screw here, and take out your regular foot and shank, and then slide on the invisible foot and screw the screw back tight on. To start sewing your invisible zipper, open it all the way up. Flip it around so the good side of your zipper, meaning the side with the zipper pull, faces the good side of your fabric. Then you want to align the edge of your zipper tape, not the coil, with the edge of your fabric, and pin it in place. In this case, you want to pin with the pin heads facing you. As you're sewing down from here, it makes it easier to pull them out. Also, as the foot is rolling your zip a little bit, having a pin there just makes it a little bit easier keeping it in place and keeping it straight, because otherwise you might end up struggling against the pull of your zipper foot. Okay. Most invisible zippers are about 1 centimeter wide. So if your seam allowance is 1.5 centimeters, you might want to move the edge of your zipper in 0.5 centimeter along the fabric. So instead of having it like this, you would move it in like that. If you've got 1 centimeter seam allowance, you can just have it along the edge like I'm doing now. Once it's pinned and in place, you're ready to go. Now, I hope you can see this. You want to roll out the coil like this to get started. You only need to do that to get started. Your foot will do the work for you once it's in. Your needle's in the middle. Move the rolled out coil to the side of your needle underneath the groove here. So you can see there's a groove in the middle that shows you the needle position. And because we want to sew, in this case on the left side of the coil, not on the right side because we wouldn't be able to attach the zipper tape, we want to have this stuck under just this groove, and it's a roller, so it'll keep rolling this out as we go. You go stitch forward, back stitch a couple, and if you want to get started, you can just hold it out a little bit. Again, taking out your pins as you sew. And taking your time. And you can see how it rolls it out here. And if you have a look just behind when it's sewn, it actually rolls back in. If you do not have an invisible zipper foot, try and get as close as possible with your regular foot, like this. And then if you've got long nails, that's quite helpful. Roll it out. I've got short nails, so I would be holding this and perhaps use my seam clipper just to roll this out. It just makes it a little bit harder, and you might end up sewing over the zip a couple of times. Okay, we're nearly at the end. Backstitch just before you get to the end of the zipper or your zipper coil. Couple of stitches. Lift your foot, and your first side is done. Invisible zippers are usually really easy to sew with the right foot. However, sometimes they're a little bit hard to line up beautifully. So what you can do is make sure that from the top edge, when you're lining up this part now, that you've got exactly the same difference. So if I've got a couple of millimeters, so just a smidgen going over, I want to have the same amount going over the edge here. If not, for example, you might be sewing a dress and you've got a waist seam there. Mark it on this side and then mark it on the same side of your zipper, so you know that it's even and it's not twisted. And just before we sew the second side, this is what it looks like from the right side at the moment. One thing that happens quite easily when you do an invisible zipper is that you pin it on and it might just be twisted there. You sew to the end and then you can't close it and have to unpick it. It's a typical beginner's mistake, but even if you sew in quite a few, you might still end up doing this. So what I do is I lay my fabric underneath and then I flip it over like this and just hold this down to make sure there's no twist. So now my zipper coil is facing down towards the good side of the fabric and it's all nice and straight. Again, I'm lining up the edge of the tape, not the coil, to the edge of the fabric. And I will pin this again. With the pin heads facing me. You're ready to sew. So now, with the needle in the middle position, I want to roll this out and place the rolled out zipper coil under the groove, just here. Once I've done that, I'm going to start sewing again. Forward stitching and back stitching. So you're really repeating what you did on the other side. And you can see how this, as I sew, keeps rolling. Okay. Stop around the same spot where you stopped on the other side. Back stitch to lock your stitch in place. And clip your thread. So now's your moment of truth. You want to see whether it closes and opens and whether it's twisted. So laying out your zipper here. Mine doesn't seem to close because some fabric is caught underneath. Here we go. So now all you can see is the zipper pull. You cannot actually see the zipper at all until I open it. This is turned to the inside, so this is what it would look like. One thing is, of course, with the invisible zipper, because we haven't, unlike the centered zipper, sewn our bottom seam first, we need to go and try and get as close to this as possible. So to finish the seam of an invisible zipper, we're going back to our normal zipper foot. We just went and changed the zipper foot to a regular zipper foot, just the normal one you would use for your regular centered zipper. And I'm laying the right sides together and I'm flipping it around to sew and close this seam. Sewing at your regular seam allowance. Back stitching at the beginning. I now want to get into here as closely as possible. So I'm going to hold the zipper out of the way, and with my zipper foot I'm going to sew in there. And reverse. So you can take it out. Press open your seam that you've just sewn. And once this is pressed, you will find that you can hardly tell the difference of where the zipper starts and finishes. That's your invisible zipper for you. So now you know how to sew 3 different types of zippers. These are the most common types of zippers, so you'll most probably to make most of the patterns that you will buy in the commercial sewing shop.